guys, welcome to today's episode of Learn Feng Shui Podcast, where ancient tradition meets modern living. I'm Candace Berlanga, a certified Feng Shui practitioner and your host for today's episode. Finally here with the energy update. Usually I do this the first week of the month, but as I mentioned last week in the bonus episode, I had a little bit of a setback, but I seem to be back on track. This week we're going to look at the energy tones for the month, as well as some of the natural phenomena that marks this season. Then we're going to take a look at the Zodiac forecast of the signs that are most impacted. Feng Shui for the month, flying stars, best and worst sectors. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, well, let's look at the energy for the month. October 7th through the 22nd is that first solar cycle of energy for the month. Cold dew, natural phenomena. You'll see some birds migrating. So if you live in an area like I do, a little bit south, we start to see the Canadian geese come through. It's my favorite time of year. And it's like on the dot every year during this time period, I start seeing the little geese formations. It's real cute. It marks a shift in the late autumn. Mornings are cooler, dew's a little bit heavier. Bird migration I just talked about. Traditionally, people use this time to support their health with warming foods. Ginger, goji berries are really good. Red dates, black sesame, and chrysanthemum tea. You can get these in tea bags or loose. Remember chrysanthemum, it's that time of year where they're starting to bloom. And whenever you have a fruit, a vegetable, flower, an herb that blooms in that season, it carries the essence of that season, and it's supposed to be nourishing for that part of your body too. Remember in Chinese medicine and Chinese metaphysics, one thing can equal 1,000 things. It can symbolize 1,000 things. In Chinese medicine, your lungs, your skin, your immune system, that's all represented by the middle element. And of course, the fall is too. And the herb or the flower of chrysanthemum. So drinking that chrysanthemum is supposed to help nourish your lungs and help build your immune system for the wintertime. You could also do cinnamon tea, baked apples, or roasted root vegetables, sweet potatoes, things like that. October 22nd through November 6th is the first freeze, or what's called frosting. Again, those mums are blooming, leaves are starting to turn. It's a natural phenomenon. Radishes are supposed to ease the symptom of winter dryness. Persimmons, they're usually blooming around this time also. I see them a little bit in September, usually around this time of year. Chestnuts, honey is really good. Mushrooms, carrots, and pears. Pears are pretty good for all times of the year. It's very earthy, ideal for a balanced diet during this time. Mild in taste, supposed to strengthen your immune system and repair your membranes. Pears are supposed to be nourishing. The temperatures also vary, which will increase the sweetness of different fruits and even vegetables. Protein, you're supposed to be eating things like sheep. I don't really know much about like lamb, sheep. I'm not really too sure about that. That's not something that's readily available to us, I don't think, at least in the stores, and rabbit. So that's traditionally what is recommended. So I think just like a little bit deeper foods that are richer in iron, they're supposed to possess yang energy that's necessary to warm the body in a harsh winter. Rabbit meat keeps the fire element in your body under control and prevents inflammation. But again, that's not really readily available where I live. If you hunt or something like that, I know here in the US, people still supplement some food with hunting, and they like to freeze their meat. Even deer meat, I think, would fall into this category. It's not quite deer season yet, but we're getting there. And I'll link my sources here in the show notes. Let's look at the energy tone for the month according to the newsletter here. Again, as I mentioned, my newsletter, I'm having trouble with my website. So I will link, I put it on Substack. I think you just have to subscribe to read. It's free. You don't have to pay anything for that. So yeah, take a look at that. We're entering into this month of the fire dog. Remember, around October 7th or so, it will be entering the month of the fire dog. So remember that the dog, it is an earth element, but it marks the end or the graveyard of fire. So it is where fire lays. If you have fire as a wealth element, this is well known as your wealth pot, and the fire dog could be a good wealth month for you. A little bit of an aside there. The October I Ching hexagram mountain teaches us the power of stillness. This doesn't mean do nothing. It just means to think before acting. When challenges come up, try not to be reactive. Instead, be mindful, step back, think about how to respond. Let your choices be made with thoughtful reflection in business and in life. This steady approach leads to stronger outcomes. And I kind of see this energy coming in already. Had a little bit of setbacks. I can see it in my kid's life, for the month. So, but shifting, just shifting, reevaluating. What they say, pivot, and you'll be just fine. I'll include this here. I usually don't include my little extras, but I thought this was kind of neat, just coming up on Halloween. We're putting all our Halloween stuff out, or if you're like me, I've had it out for a month already. I started putting my decorations out. I think every year the question kind of comes up, is Halloween decor bad feng shui? We have these very yin energy symbols, right? Skeletons, cobwebs, spooky stuff. So it's easy to kind of wonder if it might throw off the energy in your home. But I'm going to say no. This is kind of just superstition. Part of this podcast is kind of talking about that superstitious part of feng shui and what's real and what's not, kind of removing that from feng shui. And I'm going to say no. This is just my opinion here, but they're just temporary. Feng shui focuses on long-term energy patterns. Seasonal decor doesn't create a lasting issue unless you're maybe activating the wrong area. Maybe you have a blow up or animatronics, motion sensors that can stir the chi rather than stagnate it. So it's actually moving energy around. Maybe if you have an area that's not supposed to be activated, like the northeast sector of your home, that area has that yearly 5 star, so it shouldn't be activated for the years. If you put animatronics, blow-ups, motion sensing decor, that can all stir up energy, stir up chi. If you have a sound machine, a lot of lights going, that can stir up the energy and create some bad feng shui. Again, I'm just going to say no. Just make sure your decorations don't block your entrances, especially at the front door. You need to clear your pathway there. Not too much clutter, like overly displaying stuff and keeping it too overwhelming. Every corner, it's fun. I'm not against maximalism, honestly. But if you can't even walk in your home, then it might be time to rethink your decorations, You can balance also the spooky with a lighter energy, balance the yin with the yang. Pumpkins, candles, string lights, kind of keep the atmosphere festive, welcoming, fun. I've also seen the trend this summer, what they called summerween. So really Halloween stuff has been in the stores since June, July with the summerween trend, which honestly I love. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of cuter, lighter colored things like pinks and purple ghosts, or pink and purple pumpkins, turquoise pumpkins. Just consider changing the color if you feel like your energy is too heavy in your home. You don't have to do the super spooky. All right, let's get into the Zodiac forecast for the month of October. Again, also from the newsletter at the link linked below, my new Substack. I will have a link on my website, so if you happen to go learnfengshui.com, there's going to be a little blog post. The issue I ran into with the website is that I don't have enough storage to actually store the photos, the images that I use for my newsletter. And so if I delete old photos, which I tried to do recently, then I will be stuck with no image in my post. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. They change features, they change storage limits and stuff like that. Then I end up with less storage and having to pay more, and I just not doing that. But the website's up and everything. But from now on, I am just going to link my newsletter on that blog post to the Substack. So go ahead and check that out. Let's look into Zodiac forecast here. The energy impacts you depending on where it falls in your natal chart. Remember, you got 4 Zodiac signs. So it could impact you in different areas depending on where it falls. If it falls in your year, so if you're born like the year of the dog, right? It'll impact your social circle, friends, community. If you're born in a specific month, so the dog combines with a rabbit, that Zodiac sign will be impacted this month. That could impact your career or your relationships. If that happens to fall on the day you're born, and maybe you're born under the day of the rabbit instead, that can impact your health, your relationships, and your, kind of the way you feel about yourself. If it falls in an hour, then that's going to impact your thoughts, feelings, emotions, even relationship with children, and your subordinates at work. If that's not an issue, you just focus on the relationship with yourself, your emotions, your thoughts, your feelings. Maybe you could feel a little more emotional this month. That's how that works. Looking first, talking about the dog, the Grand Duke or the Tai Soi. You have some good energies this month. We can look at the stars for the month. For work, pummeled saddle means you could see some travel opportunity for work that may come up with a little to no warning. Take that opportunity if it benefits you. You also have the Tang Fu and the month virtue. Again, more support at work and problem-solving energy. Kind of gives you the ability to solve issues and do damage control. So look out for that if you have the Grand Duke. Remember, the Grand Duke is really just kind of a visibility type energy. Maybe it just means you'll be more seen this month. All right, lesser consumer. You might have some unexpected expenses or frivolous spending. That makes sense for me because I have a dog and we have birthdays this month. So I think that'll just go to birthday money. Red matchmaker. And for relationships, the possibility of taking a relationship to the next level, a step more serious. So if you're single, maybe you will find a serious relationship. So that's kind of how that works. If you're already committed, maybe you'll get engaged. Maybe it's a month where maybe you'll move in together and you're just kind of taking that next step. It's about a good match, okay? A death charm, opposite of that, you could see some kind of relationship ending. Symbolic death, which means finding closure or endings. It doesn't necessarily mean something in, a relationship ending, but it could carry that connotation. And with the red matchmaker, I would say this is probably not a romantic relationship ending, but more a friendship or just, things, symbolic death, again, symbolic closures, or finding a closure to a chapter of your life. Again, cascading clouds, you got to be a little more cautious of this one. More of a psychological effect. It can bring sad thoughts. Just watch for people with bad intentions also. Really, it's, again, more psychological. You can just feel a little bit sadder this month. So watch out for that if you have the dog. Monkey and rooster, you combine with the dog to make the season of autumn. So all three animal signs should be present. All right, monkey and rooster, you combine with the dog to make a seasonal combination. This is a very strong combination. It kind of takes precedence over other combinations. So this will form metal. So whatever metal means to you that's how it'll impact you. So for example, my day master, the day I'm born, is the metal snake. So I do have a rooster and a dog. So when those monkey days combine and come in, I'm going to have a strong friend element. We're same as the friend, right? Possibly see more connection, more collaboration, and just connection with people, friendships, maybe spend a little more time with friends, which I could see this month. Again, we have birthdays, okay? So that's how that works. But if you have the monkey and the rooster, organize your workspace and calendar for clutter, clear those digital files, set boundaries, communication, create focus hours. Remember, metal is organization. It's setting the boundary, it's communication, it's focus. So you can place a metal object in the west corner of your workspace or home for clarity, structured thinking. Remember, metal's already in the west, and the west does get the 5-star for the month, but it'll also help to control the 5-star that is there for the month. On my newsletter, I accidentally put you can use the west sector for work. Use it sparingly. All right. Southwest would probably be a little bit better. The 3 harmony. If you have the tiger and horse, you combine with the dog to create a 3 harmony. This is known as a fire frame, so you get fire. And so the way that works, again, I'm a metal element. Fire would be what's called the control, or what influences you. It's your influence element. It's the element that controls you. Remember, fire controls metal. I may have a little bit of issues with authority. Maybe I need to make sure I'm double checking my work and double checking with my boss. It might just be a thing like that. And so it just depends on what it is to you. But this 3 harmony does favor inspiration, recognition, and momentum. So remember, it can be very personal though. So this is pretty general overview. You can embrace ideas and creative direction that spark motivation. You can step into the spotlight to be seen for your efforts and receive a recognition and move forward on projects and goals with energy and clarity. Remember, fire illuminates, so you have a little bit more clarity this month also. And again, I talked about that rabbit energy earlier. So if you have a rabbit and dog, it combines to make fire. Fire can bring visibility, passion, and momentum, like we just talked about, but it also needs direction so it doesn't burn too quickly. Sometimes this rabbit dog energy can go kind of fast, be a little bit sporadic. So use energy to promote yourself or your business, step into the spotlight, and let people see what you're working on. Fire relates to clarity and vision, so set time aside to refine goals, create a vision board, or do some planning to keep your energy focused. Balance the energy by adding moments of calm. So take a few minutes of quiet time, drink some cooling tea so you don't get overheated, and spend some time outside. And if you have the dragon, remember you will clash with the dog in October. So remember, a combination can take precedence and take a clash away. Earlier, I kind of talked about that energy that, it is like an order of operations in math, okay? So remember, the dragon combines with the rooster, rat, or monkey. So during this clash, you can use the opposing energy to make a change also. To take it away, you can spend time in the north area to combine with the rat and take that energy away. That has the 12th star for the month. Speaking of flying stars, let's look at the best sectors and how you can use them for the month of October. All right, guys, well, looking at this little redesign also on the newsletter, I tried to make a little flying star section that's easier to read. So there's a little quick reference guide for the month. Just a little note about flying stars. Remember, you don't need to use every sector. You just start by choosing 1 or 2 stars that support your current goals. You focus on spaces you use the most. And, you just cure the spaces that have some negative stars. If you'd like to, place a simple cure in those key spaces or use them less for the month. For a deeper layer, you can check your life gua number and use that star combination in a sector to show you how the month may personally affect you. Okay? That's how you do that. Flying stars 1, 9, 8, and 4 this month are going to be our good ones. Flying star number 4, the Academy star, going to Gua 6 in the Northwest. The flying stars 4 and 3 meet in the Northwest. It can support study and creativity, but create a little bit of energy of fighting this month, a little arguing, especially between couples, because it's kind of that relationship star. So just be careful and mindful if you use this area a lot. Be careful not to fight with your partner, okay? Be sweet to them. Gua 6 influence here, the energy, if you're a Gua 6, the energy heightens learning and expression, but again, can kind of bring some tension into a relationship. A little bit of a challenge with authority also. So best used for projects that need some quiet focus time. So good for studying. I use this sector for writing or studying, but avoid arguments here and make use of the space without trying to activate it, okay? Flying star number 8 goes to the north to Gua 1. So the 8 and 7 star combined. So the 8 star combines with the annual 7 star. The pairing can bring financial gain through communication, deals, networking, but make sure you don't get into arguments or gossip if you use this sector a bit. You can activate it with, if your Gua 1 energy can boost money opportunities and networking ability, but it can also attract some misunderstandings or arguments if you don't watch how you say things. So just be cautious of that too. You can enhance it. You can use the space for work, fill out job applications, do a little networking, do your online networking to tap into that prosperity star, but keep the conversations calm and avoid stirring that yearly 7 stars aggressive side. Remember, it's kind of more about arguing and can carry the connotation also of some legal issues. So just be careful with that. Flying star 9, the spiritual and happiness star in the Southwest, Gua 2. Let's see here. The 9 and 8 stars meet in the Southwest, creating strong prosperity energy. Combination is good for long-term wealth growth and building some solid foundations. Here, Gua 2, the energy highlights stability and financial opportunities. It can also bring some extra responsibility in family or business. You can enhance by spending time here, planning, bookkeeping, financial activity. You can activate by using lighting, fan, or even a radio to activate and move the energy here. Flying star number 1 goes to the east to Gua 3. So you have the monthly 1 and the annual 9 star combined to create opportunity for recognition, new ideas, and future growth. You can open doors, but feel a little overwhelming if too many demands come at one time. Remember that 9 star? It's a fast expanding star, so it definitely can expand the energy and it can just move things along. So maybe things feel like they're coming pretty fast, but that's okay. We need some momentum sometimes. Gua 3, you can use the energy to spark creativity and visibility. You can also use it to heighten, but it again can just heighten some pressure to perform or lead. You can enhance it by using the sector for brainstorming and planning, apply for a higher position, or do any sort of placement exam here. Lighting, fan, radio activity can help that star to activate. And the flying stars and sectors we might want to be careful of this month. Now, flying stars 2 and 5 are usually considered negative. 3 and 7 can be kind of neutral, just depending on where they fall. So let's take a look at what's going on this month. A flying star 3 goes to the center. I put this in a negative flying stars because I really just didn't have room, the positive ones, but it goes to the center. The 3 and 2 combine in the center to set the tone for the month. Tension, maybe some arguments, maybe a little health issues. Watch your temper this month. So this is for everybody. Pace yourself. Avoid taking out stress and anger on others. The energy is just about being mindful. So there's that. Flying star 2, illness star, goes to the southeast to Gua 4. Combines with the annual 1 star. Let's see here. The mix can just kind of create some low energy, minor health issues, emotional tension. So just be cautious of that. Let's see here. If you're a Gua 4, the area can feel a bit heavy, challenging, especially like focusing, studying, or just personal energy level. So just watch out for that this month. Be careful you don't get sick. You can cure it by keeping the space quiet, avoiding activity, or putting your preferred cure, usually a metal object or protective charm with 6 to 7 coins, a salt jar. That can kind of contain the star 2's negative energy, especially if it's your bedroom. I would do a salt jar. I know I put the 6 or 7 coin. Usually that's the cure for the 2 star. But when you're putting metal in the southeast, that can create a conflict too. So remember, you still have to be mindful of the element cycle, uh, you know, within like what that sector is. So just, be cautious of that. See here. Talking about the West a little bit earlier as the 5-star. So for the 5 month combines with a yearly 4-star, mixing earth and wood energy again. Just kind of create some obstacles, tension in relationships, unexpected challenges. So be cautious of that. Remember, the 5 stars, disaster star or instability star. So it can heighten stress and stuff like that, especially for the Gua 7 disagreements, frustration, especially in communication or collaborations. Maybe that might break down this month. So be cautious of that. But you don't really need to cure much. You just keep the area quiet, avoid a lot of activity, no renovations. You can use a preferred cure or you can use metal, but honestly, the sector is a metal sector, so it's it's a yin metal. But honestly, the 5-star will probably just be controlled anyway because of the metal in the sector. All right, in the South, we have the 7-star legal disputes a month and year star, both metal. It blends the metal and metal, but I've heard it called like the sword fighting combo or two clashing metal energies, especially in especially in the South where there's that fire to aggravate it. So, tension, gossip, minor disputes. If it's by your front door, kitchen, or something like that, maybe put a little cure. If you're a Gua 9, things may feel a little bit tense, especially in relationships. Again, that collaboration again. Just be mindful of words and interactions, okay? You can cure it by just keeping the space quiet or avoiding activity or placing your preferred cure here, especially if it falls in the bedroom, front door, or your kitchen, as I just mentioned. And last but not least, flying star number 6, usually the luck star, falls to the northeast, and this is usually a good thing. But with the annual 5-star there, it might not have enough impact to it. The monthly 5 and annual 5, the yearly 5 meet, bringing some clashing energy. It doesn't necessarily clash, but it kind of controls the energy that's there. Challenges, some delays, maybe some minor setbacks. If you're a Gua 8, maybe a little frustration, blocked opportunities, extra obstacles in work or personal matters. So just be patient this month. The area should be cured already for the year because of that 5-star and the 5 tiger Shaw. So use the area sparingly, quiet, keep the space calm and avoid activating with a lot of loud sounds or bright lights, and cure if it's your bedroom, front door, or your kitchen. All right, guys, that does it for flying stars and our renovation sectors. They haven't changed a lot this year. You'll see you want to look for the Tai Sui or the Sui Po. And this month, that Tai Sui is the dog. It's going to be in that northwest sector, so that just goes along with not activating, not renovating. And remember these earth energies, like where you, the Grand Duke and all that, that's only activated by renovation. So even if you're there, it's okay, but just avoid the renovations. Across here in the southeast, of course, is the month breaker. And the other side is the Grand Duke because the dragon and the snake are close to each other. Going down to the east, of course, the Wuji Shaw is there, Disaster Shaw, northeast. We talked about that. That has a Disaster Shaw, has a Wuji Shaw, it has the 5-star for the year, so it's just a bad one. Don't renovate that at all this year. And the north, which has what is called the Wu Shaws, which have a little extra there. So be cautious of renovating any of these sectors this month. And if you need a little help, let me know and we can talk about dates to start. Some areas can be done with renovations, just doing date selection. All right, guys. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed looking at the energy tone, the zodiac signs, and the flying stars for the month, staying healthy, all of those things we talk about each month. Remember to check out that newsletter on that new link in the Substack and subscribe so you can get updates. I'm going to try and post there a little bit more. I'm telling you, I just had the worst trouble this year with the website, email campaigns. Like it's been a toughie this year. It really has. This year, I'm ready for the year of the snake to be over. Quite honestly, I was remembering that every year the snake that I've had it's not really been so good. So it's okay. We have good ones and we have bad ones. The good news is that everything is temporary in life and everything changes. So if you're having a bad time right now, then that's going to change and turn around for the good. So it's not forever. All right, well, I'll catch you guys next week. I'm not sure what the topic is going to be. A couple topics I've lined up is I had a chat with my Feng Shui friend and colleague, Lisa Albin. So we just kind of caught up and talked about period 9, talked about the rise of women, how that's showing up in the media, just some of these things that are showing up for us. We kind of focused more on this rise of middle-aged women, which was just a really interesting conversation. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I have this, just a kind of another episode of spooky or like Halloween episode of haunted feng shui and possess objects, which I think will be pretty interesting. So I'm not sure which one will come out first. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to get the haunted episode out first so we can have a little Halloween episode and then we'll have a nice chat after that. All right, guys, I'll catch you guys next week.